In a bit of a shocking move, Judge Maran has adjourned the Trump hearing today without explanation. So it's kind of weird. Judge Maran was supposed to issue a ruling on whether or not Donald Trump is going to face these 34 fake convictions, or they would be dismissed, postponed, something, anything. Abruptly, he just said, we're leaving by, and ran off. I find this weird, I guess. Everybody seems to be confused by the move, but I got to say, regardless, this man is running scared. The charges against Donald Trump are fake. We all know it. Anybody who's paid attention to the criminal cases knows that misdemeanor charges beyond their statute of limitations applied to Donald Trump with no underlying crime, it makes no sense. But let me tell you, right now, my friends, in Bucks County, for instance, Democrats are admitting to breaking the law, counting illegal ballots. The New York Times is still tabulating those illegal ballots, despite the New York Times also reporting the Democrats are breaking the law. Welcome to the reign of lawlessness. This is where we're currently at. So I suppose what I think is happening right now with this Maran felony charges with no explanation what's going on, Judge Maran is terrified. Donald Trump should immediately, upon taking power on January 20th, with Matt Gaetz becoming the AG in whatever capacity he can, launch a conspiracy against rights investigation on Maran. I believe Maran should go to prison. I believe that he has broken the law, and what they think, Democrats, doesn't matter. If Donald Trump does nothing, then the lawfare rages on. In fact, prosecutors, Washington Post, is arguing that maybe they'll just bring the charges back in 2029. As soon as Trump is out of office, they will get him. Okay, well, if that's the game they're going to play, Trump has one move. Conspiracy against rights. Bring this to the courts. Prove New York State is in violation of the law. Invoke the Insurrection Act, whatever you have to do. Send in the feds to arrest Maran and the other people involved, the prosecutors, all of them, every single one. Because the charges are a violation of rights. There is no law that allows them to charge Donald Trump. They made it up. And when, at the same time, Letitia James and Alvin Bragg, same thing. Now, of course, as we've mentioned many times on Timcast IRL, Democrats will come out and say, this is fascism. It's everything we warned about. Well, if Trump does nothing, then we get fascism. If Trump tries to resist Democrat fascism, maybe we can stop it. But either way, it looks like escalation is upon us. And what we're seeing right now is the fear Judge Maran has. And here's what I think. Maran knows that if he says no to Trump, the Democrats are going to come after him. Or if he says no to the charges and dismisses them, he's screwed. He knows that if he says, Mr. President, you're going to prison, try me, Donald Trump's going to be like, feds, go. You see, here's the real problem for Judge Maran. Like the pathetic, spineless piece of trash that he is now stuck between the Democrats, the deep state, and Donald Trump. So all he can do is run and hide. Here's the story from Fox News. Before we read this, I want to give you a bit of the context. The Washington Post says, New York prosecutors face what's next in Trump's hush money case. Prosecutors in Trump's hush money case, which saw him convicted of 34 felony counts, are expected to tell a judge how they want to proceed after his election win. Manhattan prosecutors faced a Tuesday deadline to tell a judge how they want to proceed with the 34 felony convictions. The expected court filing will help determine whether Trump returns to the White House after his inauguration January 20th as the only president convicted and sentenced in a crime. Trump was charged in 4 criminal cases after his first term in office, but only the New York prosecution went to trial before his election win, apparently leaving the others in jeopardy. The jury decision this year finding Trump guilty in the hush money case, which was presided over by New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan, left him facing up to 4 years in prison. He is scheduled for sentencing next week, though that appears dependent on what happens after Merchan hears from prosecutors Tuesday. Trump's conviction in May for falsifying documents involves $130,000 paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the weeks before the 2016 election in order to keep her quiet about the alleged sexual encounter years earlier, which he denies. Now, as the story goes, he actually didn't pay anything. It was his lawyer Cohen who did. He never actually told Cohen to do it. Cohen said he did it. Cohen said, my understanding is He did it because he knew what Trump wanted. Trump didn't need to say it. Okay, well, falsifying business records is a misdemeanor. Next question. Also, they brought these charges 2016. This is nearly a decade ago. How could they charge? It's beyond the statute of limitations. Ah, yes. They claimed it was in furtherance of a secondary crime. Here's another problem for them. Part of the evidence they used against Trump came from his time in office when he was elected president, which the Supreme Court already said you can't use that as evidence of wrongdoing. He's the president. Now, the question is, does this all fall apart? Merchan's not giving us an answer. They do mention Bragg suggested postponing sentencing until 2029 when Trump would resume his civilian status. Oh, boy. Here's the story from Fox News. Donald Trump's sentencing for 34 criminal charges in New York was abruptly adjourned by the court, according to Bloomberg News, a decision that gives the presiding judge additional time to weigh how to proceed the case. The reportedly delayed sentencing came on the same day that District Attorney Alvin Bragg was slated to file a recommendation to Judge Juan Merchan on how to proceed. Fox News was not able to independently confirm the reporting. The adjournment itself is not a dismissal of the charges against Trump. Rather, it takes a previously scheduled November 6th sentencing date off the calendars as the court weighs how to proceed. Very, very strange. Trump was supposed... They're not saying anything. I think Merchan is terrified. He's only got a couple of months. Matt Gaetz is going to come in, and the boot is going to come down on these criminals in New York. The next steps in the case remain unclear. Judge Merchan can move to either delay Trump's sentencing until after he leaves the White House, can dismiss the conviction outright, or can grant a sentence of unconditional discharge, which would leave the conviction intact but free Trump from any prison time, fines, or probation. I got news for you. Any move made against Trump, I hope, I beg, and I pray he responds with the full weight of the Department of Justice. And it is simple. An investigation into conspiracy against rights. Thank you and have a nice day. They lied. These charges are false, and they must go to prison for this, Merchan included. And the Democrats will be like, this is unprecedented. Trump is arresting a judge, and we'll have evidence. There will be warrants. There will be a criminal trial for this. And guess what? The feds win. Likely Merchan would take some plea agreement, and I think it would be a slap on the wrist. That way, Donald Trump can stand up and say Merchan has pleaded guilty to conspiracy against rights or some similar charge. I'm not a lawyer. But what's Merchan going to do if he drops the charges against Trump? The left is going to lose their minds. He will not be safe. He knows what it means for the far left if he says to Trump, you're free to go. What does he do? You made this choice, Merchan. You made this choice. Merchan can move to either delay Trump's sentencing until after he leaves the White House. Trump was convicted in May. This we understand. The presiding judge in the New York case, Judge Juan Merchan, granted a request from prosecutors earlier this month to stay all deadlines associated with the New York case, including a planned sentencing date of November 26 in the wake of Trump's election victory. The people agree that these are unprecedented circumstances, Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo said in their request, which he added would allow for prosecutors to better evaluate the impact of his election as president. Trump's attorneys who have pushed to vacate the charges against him completely also backed the stay. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in July that presidents should enjoy presumptive immunity from criminal prosecution for most actions taken as president, further complicating the path forward in the New York case. I think they should all go to jail. I think when Bragg or Letitia James or any one of these people is saying, vote for me and I'll go after Trump, Trump should be like, there's your evidence. And they should just go after him. Criminal charges on all of them. New York must be brought to heel. And California must be brought to heel as well. I hope Trump gets the job done. We got Thanksgiving next week. So it's going to be interesting. The calm before the storm, perhaps. You know, I got to tell you, I'm going to be flying out for Thanksgiving with the family where we'll eat turkey. And I don't know that politics will come up, probably quietly. Because my family's not crazy. You know, we got liberals, we got Republicans, and we still get together for food. And some people don't like some other people because they're politics. But when family's around, we play board games and everybody gets along. And then we go home and we complain about their politics after the fact because that's normal. It's normal that your liberal aunt has weird opinions that you don't like. And then you have dinner because blood is thicker than water, right? So this Thanksgiving, we'll relax. We get a couple of weeks afterwards until Christmas time. Let me check the calendar real quick. So for us here at Timcast, I'll probably have some morning show segments up for all of next week. Maybe not on Thanksgiving, but definitely on Friday, because we're not going to have a Culture War episode on Friday. And then in December, the 20th will be our last day. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it, but I believe we'll be at TPUSA. At least that's the working plan right now. And then after that, we are off, I think, until probably the 1st or 2nd. Probably the 2nd. We might have to take up till the 6th, to be completely honest. That's crazy. 2 weeks off? Ugh, that's so brutal. I hate taking time off like that. But it's Christmas, so we'll be with family. After this, ladies and gentlemen, January 6th, the day they will count the electoral votes and Donald Trump will become president. President-elect, formally. And then, oh man, the 20th. This will be the second Monday of January when Trump is inaugurated. And we're talking about our plans and what we're going to do because we're effectively in D.C. We're an hour outside. And we want to be broadcasting, so we're working on it. I don't know what Trump does, but I will tell you this. Judge Merchan's adjournment, they are terrified of what comes next. And the plans they are cooking, my friend. So we'll see. But I'm going to wrap this one up there. Smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. Become a member over at timcast.com to support our work. We got more segments coming up. Stick around and we'll see you all shortly.